Hello friends, welcome. It is part 2 of my zine video. I can't really call it a zine with me because I feel like I'm not really showing you very much of the making process. I'm just kind of updating you and sharing my process with you, sharing my progress. And so I don't really know how to record my desktops, or this is my laptop screen, so I can show you how I'm editing my poetry. I don't really know how to record that part. I don't really know how I'm gonna be able to share with you my sketching because I'm really insecure about that. So rather than being a make a zine video, it's almost like I'm making a zine and let me share my process with you. So I don't know. I don't really know what I want to call this then, but I'm excited about it nonetheless. This last week of editing my poetry and really fine tuning it and getting it to the place where I think it's going to be the best it can be is just fantastic. It's been super fun. It's been super productive. I feel really motivated and I'm excited about it. This has been really good for me, especially because I've been having a hard time getting back into my writing and getting back into my long-term projects, and this is kind of taken a turn. It's not really gone where I thought it would go. It's not this 4-part series I thought it would be. It's not a video 1, plan an outline, boom, 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 done. Video 2, let's do some sketches, and I didn't really think about the process in between those two of figuring out where poems go, the editing process, figuring out the layout. I'm gonna have my husband print this for me. Because right now I'm working off a Google document. I'm not handwriting this. My handwriting ain't pretty. So the logistics of it has been an interesting part of the process. It's been a learning curve for sure. Going off of that, I thought that I would be able to get this done in a month, and I'm starting to think, this might take longer. Just working on it a little bit at a time, really focusing in and making it 100% as good as I can get it. In the past, I feel I just throw it together and be okay, it's good enough. This is what I want. But now I'm really just going through and really trying to pin down what it is I want for this project, what it is I'm actually looking for, and not settling for that rush job. Well, I've imposed this deadline on myself. I have to meet that deadline. This is as good as it's gonna get. I don't want to do that to myself. So yes, I have this deadline in mind, but I'm also okay with, what, I'm gonna get as much done as possible until that deadline, and then reassess at that deadline. Okay, where am I? How much more time do I think I need? And then really use this as a learning curve for how much time I really do need for my projects, so that in future I don't cut myself short and I don't put myself in this position where I'm it's just good enough, it's gonna have to do, I have to rush this. And so it's been fascinating to look at myself and look at my creative process and really try to understand myself. And I know that sounds corny, I live in my body, I live in my mind, I should know me, right? It's an excellent question. If anybody figures it out, let me know. I'm over here struggling. But yeah, so it's been interesting because with this in preparation for this video, for a few minutes I was just going through and I was writing my goals. Okay, this is what I wanted to do today. Can that realistically happen? For today, why I'm so obsessed with lunch and why I'm mentioning it is because I wanted to have all of my poetry really go back through and fine-tune, comb through it, edit it, do my final edits, figure out the order of things, figure out, you know, how that would look, like I said, stacked together and folded, and what that would actually entail by lunchtime. And I'm looking at the clock and I'm going, if that's what I thought, I should have been working on this all day yesterday and all of this morning. Like, I shouldn't have, you know, tried to sleep in and or sleep as long as my son would let me, and then get up and, you know, have a really slow morning and then rush at the last second. Like, that's not what I should have done. I should have been working on the order of things and stuff. And I was working on edits all of last week, but I took Saturday and Sunday kind of off. I had, you know, a nice, slow, relaxing weekend with my husband. And there's nothing wrong with that. But for the deadline I imposed on myself, that didn't work. That doesn't work. So what I'm looking at now is not printing it this week, but printing it later on this week. Like, not printing it today, I'm sorry, but printing it later on this week. And so what does that even look like? What does that mean for this project? And I think for this project, excuse me, sorry, I am a little dry-throated. So I think what that means for this project is today, for this video, I'm just updating you. I don't really have anything to show you. And so, I mean, I kind of feel bad about that, but at the same time, like, I'm not going to rush and show you something I'm not proud of, because then that's out for everybody to see, and I'm like, oh, well, I mean, now everybody thinks of my work ethic that I just kind of put things off and then rush them, and then it's not the best, and I don't want that to be the image everybody gets of me, even though that might be partially true. But yeah, so I don't know, it's kind of frustrating for me right now, because I very much had this idea of what I wanted for today, and that's just not going to happen, and I have to accept that. What I'm doing today, long story short, is I'm going through and finishing the edits for my poetry, and I don't know how to show you that, but like, I have 12 poems in total that I picked, and I on several of them there are comments that you know, of notes I took when I was discussing this with my husband when I let him read over it, and yeah, there I have to go through and I have to really finish editing that. And if it takes these last week and this week, fine, cool. You know, I'm proud of it. But so today, I guess I'm just going to continue on editing. I'm going to finalize order, or I'm going to figure out what order I want, and then if I have time or if I'm able, I'll update you. I don't know. My son woke up from his nap. I can hear him in the other room, so I need to go get him. But yeah, so that's what it's looking like today, is just continuing on. And as I figure out what it looks like and how it looks, I'll let you know. Okay, hello, update time. So, I realized as I was going through and doing some final edits and really looking over my poems and figuring out titles and whatnot, that figuring out what order I wanted my poetry in was going to be a hassle on the computer, just because I have one poem per page, and so that endless flipping back and forth and trying to decide, okay, this poem's about memory, but this poem's also about nostalgia, but this poem's also about, like, daydreaming, so, like, do I lump all these together? I realized, like, I just needed to have them printed out and brought home. So I was able to, by lunchtime, figure out some things, but I in no way was done. So I had my husband print off what I had so that I could kind of figure out order. So I kind of want to go through and say, just move that real quick, and say, okay, so I have this one that's a little bit more abstract. I'm going to set that aside. This one, I have two that are about... This one's also a little not abstract, but it's a little bit more like, doesn't have anything particular to do with my past or anything. It's just where it is. Where is it? Where is it? Oh, here it is. Okay. I have two about writing poetry that I really, really like, and I want both of them in here, so I have two of those. And it's like, okay, how am I going to group these? Am I going to put them side by side in my poetry pamphlet? Am I going to make sections? I have several that are, like, this is about motherhood, so I have two about motherhood. I'm just gonna, this heart of mine, muse, construction. Like this one, I still have to pick a title. I don't know. Like, it's about when I was pregnant with my son. The first time I was like, oh, was that a kick? It was like one of those, the first moment where I was like, oh, it doesn't just feel like my muscle hurting, or it doesn't just feel like I'm bloated. It was like, oh, that was something, you know? So, but it's like, what do I title that? And then this other one is motherhood, but after having my baby. So it's like before and after. But yeah, so it's like, I don't know what I want to do, and I'm just kind of taking this journey. So this is like nature poetry, This has nothing to do with anything. It's just a poem I wrote. So this is like something that, I don't know. So I have 12 poems. I have two that are dealing with like nature, connection to nature. I have two that are dealing with not pregnancy, but motherhood. I have two that are dealing with writing poetry. And then I have three that are memory based. I have three that are like looking back. And then I have three that are just not really anything. This is my process. This is what I'm doing for my zine. Welcome to the madness. But yeah, so I just thank you so much for just letting me share this and coming on this journey with me. And even if one person just watches this, hi Mom, thanks. Like, this has been really fun, and this has been a really eye-opening experience. I think I'm done. I think I'm gonna post this video. I think it's long enough. I've babbled on long enough. So I'm gonna spend the rest of this week going over my poetry and making the final edits and figuring out titles, which I said before I'd do, and figuring out how I want to order all this. And I'll see you next week. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, bye.